well, we are back in chapter 13, verse 10 through 17. The disciples came to him and asked, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" Of course, we mentioned this yesterday, that now the disciples are, first of all, they're coming and asking him, but they are trying to understand, why is it in parables too? And Jesus replies, "The knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has will be given more, and he will have an abundance." So if you already have a knowledge of God, then you will get even more. When you're chasing after that understanding, you will be given more and more and more. Whoever does not have, you don't have any understanding, even what he has will be taken from him. This is why I speak to them in parables. Those seeing, they do not see; though hearing, they do not hear or understand. And part of me, I've got, I've got to get my little kid's cup, because clearly this week I forgot my teacup. And I hear my voice getting weaker again. In them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they have closed their eyes. Otherwise, they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. So he wants them to seek after for understanding, just like we talked about yesterday. Don't let it go in one ear and out the other. You take it in, you receive it, and you really study and ask God for that understanding. Jesus, reveal your secrets. And he does. When we seek him for understanding, for that wisdom, even Proverbs talks about this. When we seek for it, God reveals those secrets to those who closely walk with him. And that's why he revealed these things to the disciples. And he's saying, it's not revealed to them, but I will reveal it to you because you are close to me. You're chasing after my heart and who I am. You're not just coming for a word of the day. You truly want to know me. And that's the seeking knowledge and understanding is, again, going back to that's what prepares our hearts and our eyes and our ears. And that's what makes the soil rich to receive. So these people is these that were hearing all of this that Jesus was preaching about and giving them such richness, but it was shallow ground. And so what happens is they're hearing it here, they're receiving the miracles, but what takes place maybe a couple years later is they're the ones that are over there shouting, "Crucify him, crucify him." Their roots never dug deep enough. So when persecution came or anything that came to sway them, they did not have the roots. So they easily caved. They dried up, withered, and died because they were not digging deep. So those that want to understand will hunger and thirst. They'll ask, they'll seek, they'll knock. Again, we're building on all of these things we've already learned in Matthew. And they will do all of this until they have understanding. And we also see this theme of that whenever we talked about this, I think was the last chapter, where whenever something has been taken from us as we follow God, that we'll receive an abundance back. We'll receive 100-fold. Well, he's also saying this here in the picture in verse 8. So the seed that fell on good soil, that crop is produced 160 and 30 times what was sown. So God gives back in abundance. So that ground that had to be tilled and things removed, all those rocks, it's hard work to get the soil to be ready to receive and to be good soil, ready to receive the seed. All that hard work is replenished and multiplied so much more, 160 or 30 times what was sown because of what was removed from the ground. So when we do that, when we ask God to remove the things that are in our lives that are preventing from his growth and maturity in our lives, then he can give back and multiply and multiply and multiply that these 100 times in our lives. So also there was one more note that I had to make because I found this interesting. Remember we talked about this, I think in chapter 2, that there are extra historical documents that are not part of the biblical canon, but they are still beneficial and is referenced many times in Scripture, um, throughout all of Scripture for different books, like the Book of Enoch. We have the Book of Jubilees and several other books that were referenced by the disciples and by other prominent people in the Bible, including Jesus himself. So there's another reference here that Jesus makes actually to one of these books, and it's to the Book of Jubilees. So the Book of Jubilees speaks of Satan as the prince of demons. We're kind of familiar with that, where we see this even through our canon. But this goes into a little bit more detail with the Book of Jubilees. So he is the prince of the power of the air. Prince, and I might say this wrong, Mastema, is pictured as a swooping bird leading a pack of other birds. And this prince, Mastema, sent crows so that they might eat the seed which was being sown in the earth, so that they might rob mankind of their labor. So before they plowed in the seed, the crows picked it off the surface of the earth. And this is in the Book of Jubilees. So this is a picture that Jesus is even referring to, is something that was familiar to them, and he's bringing back this imagery, and he's saying this exactly is tying in together, and he's saying this is the picture that I'm talking about, is that the enemy will try to come and steal this before it even has a chance to germinate. So make sure that you have that ground prepared so it can receive the seed. And then you need to also protect your garden, and don't let the enemy steal what God is putting into your life and putting those seeds into that ground, and let it germinate and dig deep into the roots. So now we go into another parable, and we will talk about this tomorrow.